Alrighty, folks, it is time for round two of Grand Prix Caersol. We are up against Crushed Castles this time around on green-white tokens. If you want to check out any of these decks for yourself, link in the description below to the tournament bracket. I don't usually shout that out, but feel like it's worth doing so. There are 23 decks in this tournament, and there's some real spice in there. And then, of course, as always, the description holds all of the other key resources for all things Revolution Custom Standard. So, green-white tokens. There's a couple different players on a sort of green-white tokens go-wide strategy. Most of them are leaning on Laystone of Being and sort of a Soul Sisters theming to their strategy. But this particular opponent is actually not taking a tokens life gain plan. They're just going full on go wide. So this is going to be a pretty tough matchup, I think. They've got Melon Defense Tourney as their only one drop. They've got Resolute Reinforcements and the Ruins Awaken as 8 different 2-mana spells they can play to make a pair of 1/1 bodies. But that's pretty much it for the early game. The only other early gameplay they have is Fateful Ascent as a removal spell. However, their game really starts rolling on turn 3 onward, because they have Faithline Marshal, a 3-mana 2/3 with Flash. Whenever they cast their first spell each turn, they make a 1/1 soldier token. Their second spell each turn gives them an Everywhere token. They have Looming Psyhawk, another 3-drop 2-power creature with Flash, this one with flying and lifelink and only 1 toughness. That keeps us from creating tokens. And then a 1 green 1/1 Human Cleric, Commander of the Vow, that just makes 2 1/1s when it enters. So it's another big bomb of tokens in terms of total quantity. That puts a counter on itself whenever a token you control deals combat damage to a player. That is all backed up by another token-making spell at 3, Magical Leaves, 2 and a green for a sorcery that lets them choose 2 modes. They can make 2 berry tokens, make 2 1/1 plant creature tokens, or gain 1 life for each token they control. So this is often going to be 3 mana, make 2 1/1s, and gain a bunch of life. That is a lot of sustain for them. That can really help them recover from aggressive starts on my end. Or they can just make 4 tokens. Not super keen on seeing what the berry tokens are good for, but at the very least, they could make the berry tokens in a pinch if they just feel like they need the extra points of pressure. They've also got Complementarity as another big bomb of a token generation spell. X3 and a white for an instant that makes X 1/1 white citizen creature tokens, but it also costs 1 less for each creature you control. So at 3 creatures, this is X and a white. At 4 creatures or more, you could just pay a single white mana to make a creature token for each creature you control minus the first 3. And then just can obviously pour in extra mana to cover the rest of that ground. And then backing all of that up, all of their token generation turn after turn is also Honesty, which lets them put counters on their creatures whenever they enter. And the second time that ability resolves each turn, they get to put a counter on each other creature they control as well. So they're going to really spiral their board taller and taller over time. And whenever they attack, they get to tap a blocker down. And if they attack with 8 or more power, they get to tap 3 blockers down instead. And their curve kind of capping off at 3 for the most part lets them get away with 22 lands here across 4 Primal Fissure, 4 Temple of Origins, 4 Thicketed Path, and then 5 of each basic. I think this is going to be a really rough matchup. We're going to see how it fares. I'm going to have to do my best to just sort of rush them down, but I think over the long-term course of the game, they are going to be able to outscale me and put me in a really tricky bind. We'll talk about their sideboard after game 1, but for now, let's get ready to dive in. I'm very nervous about this matchup. I think all of the green-white tokens decks are really rough for me. I'm really banking on just being able to get in with my creatures, and so them being on a strategy that inherently is good against me trying to get in is going to be really hard. some degree of value from having Menace available to me, so I can lean on Mercenary Dusk, Ignited Soul to kind of force them to get less benefit from going wide in terms of defensiveness. And they only have... Oh, opponent looks like they're disconnecting and reconnecting. We also have some benefit from Spirit Realm Phoenix being pretty good at killing. They only have the one flying creature in the Looming Psyhawk. And we don't really make a whole lot of tokens. Psyhawk does stop us from getting the puzzle box off of Fabricated Anomaly, but if we've already gotten one, then Psyhawk has no meaningful text. Psyhawk does put some pressure on our sideboard because it means we'd have less reason to consider a Dire Visionary. But I'm not 100% sure I'd want to board in Dire Visionary in this particular matchup, in spite of how much I liked it in round 1. So let's go ahead and roll the dice. We win the die roll. So that is really rough. That is Calamity Cat, Dark Sun Migrant, double Face of Animosity. There's also a Manifest Knot and a Fabricated Anomaly. I think I actually could work with this. I'm going to keep 7. So one-laner is really sketchy, but Calamity Cat plus Dark Sun Migrant means I get to swing in with a 2/2 double striker on turn 2, even barring anything else going on. So we'll go ahead. Yep, we will go ahead and run out the Calamity Cat here. I don't know why it put it back into my hand, but... there we are. So yeah, I intend on going Calamity Cat into Migrant here. I'll probably pitch a Face of Animosity. I don't know, maybe. I'm pitching 2 cards here over the course of this turn. We'll see what we draw before I lock in any decisions there. Exorcist of Errors. Yeah, I think we're going to pitch Face of Animosity, Fabricated Anomaly. Actually, maybe I pitch Manifest Not Fabricated Anomaly. I like the Manifest a lot, but I do recognize that it's going to be a little awkward to try and line up fully. I think we're going to go Dark Sun Migrant. I think we're definitely going to pitch Fabricated Anomaly. So Migrant up to 2/2 stats. Trigger on Dark Sun Migrant. I think I'm going to pitch the Manifest Knot. And we lose out on a Spirit Realm Phoenix for good. Unfortunate. But this is still some good aggression. Barring anything else, a land draw next turn means we could just kill. So they have second Primal Fissure. This, if they're holding Fateful Ascent, we're in a heaping amount of trouble. Oop, yeah. For a moment, I thought that I was passing back to them. Mind is a little boggled. We do find the second land drop. Okay, so swinging in with Calamity Cat versus using it to put another counter on Dark Sun Migrant. They both represent 2 damage, but if they go ahead and put... if they are not holding Fateful Ascent, if they are instead looking to use Resolute Reinforcements to soak up damage, then they get to block Calamity Cat and soak up 2, whereas they'd be soaking up 1. They'd get to soak up 3 damage between the 2 on Calamity Cat and the 1 here, as opposed to if they just double block the Dark Sun Migrant in the face of double Face of Animosity. But let's talk about lethal outs right now. That is 8. That is 3 plus 3 plus 3. 1, 2, 4 plus 6 is 10. That's lethal if they don't have removal for the Dark Sun Migrant. I'm going to shock in the Sanguine Palace. I'm going to wait to see what they have. I'm not going to go in on Calamity Cat here, or on Calamity Cat using Dark Sun Migrant. I am going to use Migrant to pitch Exorcist here, though. So we'll see how they feel. Asking if we're good to attack because that gives me the option to discard and get the trigger. All right, so discard a card, gives it double strike, exile top card of your library. So we will discard and exile a Mercenary of Dusk. All right. Them not going for blocks here, I think I'm going to take the safer line. I have lethal. I have the lethal here, but with them sitting on 2 lands here, I think I just want to get in for the 6, put them to 10. And then develop Mercenary of Dusk. There is consequences to milling them. They've got a spell that works in their graveyard. Milling a mountain and another Dark Sun Migrant. And we pass. See if they had the trick here. I kind of already want to see the replay after the fact on this, because if they didn't have the Fateful Ascent, I was in the clear. So they go get the 2 lands. Do they fire off a Fateful Ascent here? Do they have a Fateful Ascent to fire off? They do nothing. Interesting. So it was Fateful Ascent or Resolute Reinforcements. Those were the options for them there. They have Temple of Origins here on green-white. Unsurprising there. I think any creature they play here is just not going to cut it. So they play Commander of the Vow. They get 2 1/1s. But that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2 plus the Heckbent condition. That's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's 18 double strike trample. That's lethal. Untap, draw, Temple of Origins. Oh, set annotation. Let's clear this. Yeah, this is just it. God, this card is messed up. Um, and I don't need to reveal the second one if they're just choosing not to block. That's the lethal. All right, we did the thing. Yeah, Dark Sun Migrant, not okay. Goodness gracious. I feel like I was sending a little bit of a signal with not swinging in with the mercenary there, but uh, I didn't really need to do anything fancy. All right, so game two. I don't know how to feel about Manifest Not. I feel like it's still really valuable. I'm thinking about Twilight Ambush. I'm thinking about Coordinated Shot. So, Fabricated Anomaly is really important in this matchup. It is my only way of keeping up with their scaling. We should talk about their sideboard, though. So they've got a bunch of 3-ofs. They are almost all instant, but they are all instant speed plays. So they've got 3 copies each of Route Navigator, which is to shut off search effects. So this is good against foes unfed. This is good against Penwrath Dispatcher. Better against foes unfed than Penwrath Dispatcher, but good against both in that way. Can be good against other search effects as well. There's not a whole lot of tutoring outside of those 2 cards right now, but it is very good against foes unfed. Foes unfed alone has me thinking about Route Navigator in a whole other context, where I think Route Navigator looks really good right now. That's a very good meta call. Constrict shuts down activated abilities from non-land sources. So the only super meaningful things that does are they can counter a Calamity Cat activation, or they could counter a Puzzle Box activation. Either way, they cost us a card for no real benefit. And then they get to draw a card. So I could see them wanting Constrict. I doubt it. Lunate Charm can give their permanent hexproof, can exile a creature with power 4 or greater, or put graveyard on bottom of library in a random order. It's their graveyard hate. I could see Lunate Charm coming in here. Not super great, but there are cases where the removal mode can matter. Obviously, that lethal out there doesn't work against Lunate Charm. And then the Graveyard Hate is also nice against Fabricated Anomaly. Plasma Strike is the big one. Just kills most of our things, especially early on. And then Renounce the Worldly could maybe come in, destroy an artifact or enchantment. Like, that does kill Fabricated Anomaly at least. But I'm not 100% sure. So I think I'm probably not going up on all of the Twilight Ambushes and Coordinated Shots, but I think I am going up on all 4 Twilight Ambushes at least, right? Like, their relevant creatures are all gotten by Twilight Ambush. Yeah. The problem with removal, though, is that it's so awkwardly positioned in the face of token generators, because then I am going down on value. But I think maybe that is incentive to not look at the Twilight Ambush. Maybe that's incentive to not do the Twilight Ambush. Like, maybe we come down on the Manifest Not, keep the Coordinated Shots. That's, I think, a reasonable sideboard card here. And then maybe we go down like 1 Ignited Soul, because that just stacks up horribly against what they're doing compared to everything else. So we just trade the Manifest Knots for burn spells, trade 1 Ignited Soul for the 4th burn spell. I think I'm fine with that. We're just looking to kill them. I'm not super confident, but we're going to work with it. So game 2 here, opponent presumably going to be on the play. It's going to make it a lot harder for us to rush down the opponent. I have my lunch next to me, but I'm trying to resist crunching into the microphone right now. It's another one-lander. Dark Sun Migrant, Ignited Soul, Fabricated Anomaly, Spirit Realm Phoenix, March of the Long Night. Do we gun it on a second one-lander? Oh, it feels so irresponsible, but I'm so tempted. I think on the draw, one-landers are even safer. Let's go for it. We've got Migrant, we've got Ignited Soul, we've got Face of Animosity. If we can discard Anomaly or Spirit Realm Phoenix, then we can March of the Long Night it back. If there's ever a deck where I can feel like one-landers are workable, it's going to be this one. Yeah, they got it. Was just clarifying. We draw 2-drop, not what we were looking for. That's fine. We're going to go Temple on our colors. We're going to go for Dark Sun Migrant. I had a friend reach out to me between last round and this round and make the observation that Dark Sun Migrant looks like the equivalent of Ragavan. And my goodness, I can't unsee it. All right, they're going to Fateful Ascent the Migrant. So it is Destroy, and we make a chart. That's not appended to the card, but we got it. We will untap and draw Sanguine Palace. All right, I think we're shocking that in and running out Exorcist of Errors here. The alternative is we play it tapped and just run out an Ignited Soul, but nah. Exorcist time. Show me what you got. We could glean some insight on what their sideboard plan is here. So we've been 1-for-1. We're both on 5 cards in hand. Opponent thinking about their piles here. This is the hardest part of Exorcist always, is what do I put in the face-up pile? I will say, one of the things I have felt with Exorcist, and I've talked in the past about how I am torn on whether I like or dislike Exorcist being such an iconic card of the format right now, is that it is very true of Exorcist of Errors that it is a very skill-testing card. The counterpoint I will make is that it is also very true of Exorcist of Errors that it is a card that does slow down the game. Because it takes so much time to think over what is the correct piles. Excuse me. What is the correct piles, and once face up and face down piles have been revealed, what do you take? What on earth do you leave available here? So they're keeping 2 cards secret and revealing 3 spells that they cannot currently cast on 2 lands. So it would be deeply irresponsible for me to look at the face down pile. Deeply irresponsible. I have to choose here 2 things. Number 1, do I think my opponent is trying to shelter something? So number 1 is, do I value Exorcist keeping them off of relevant plays? Because if so, I choose Faithline Marshal 99 times out of 100. Honesty is just not as high impact as Faithline Marshal on this particular turn. It does get really scary over time, but the whole goal of this strategy is to give them no time. So leaning towards taking the Faithline Marshal over complementarity or honesty. And the real problem with this is, do I think there is something more key to their current game plan hiding here, or do I think it's lands? I think if it's lands, I take Faithline Marshal every time. If it is something key to their strategy that is not face up, what could it be? It could be a Commander of the Vow. I think Commander of the Vow or Fateful Ascent would be the only things they would hide here. If they want to go Fateful Ascent next turn, I'm cool with that because I can just March of the Long Night, hit him again. I'm going to take the Faithline Marshal here. So we know Honesty and Complementarity and 2 unknowns. Alrighty. I don't know why that double attached, but cool. I just had a moment where my opponent put the card in the graveyard, and I thought to myself, God, could you imagine if this was just a full discard? It is another Fateful Ascent. Okay. So they do take this out, and they pass without playing a land. Interesting. So they were hiding a Fateful Ascent, and now we know 3 of the cards in their hand and 2 unknowns. We untap, we draw another Face of Animosity. Let's do it again. God, I love this card so much. March of the Long Night is so good. It'd be nice to be cheating out a Fabricated Anomaly or Spirit Realm Phoenix with this right now, but for as much as I want the aggression, nice job removing my Exorcist. Anyways, here's that same Exorcist again. It's just so funny to me. So in this position, they now get to do, okay, here's the 3 cards you knew about, here's the 2 cards that you don't. It would be an insane play for them to have 2 lands here and to just not play a land on turn 3. Right? Right? Like, that's crazy. The other hard thing is, do I value taking them off of the inevitable Faithline Marshal, or do I value getting to peek at their hand here and say, like, oh, well, here's one of your only playable cards. Let me give you absolutely nothing to do here. Because the nice thing about our current position is I'm pretty unlikely to draw my 3rd land, but my opponent's not much more likely to draw theirs. They're on 22 lands to our 21. So it's not beyond the realm of belief that we both just have to navigate this game on Mana Screw. And in that context, I really do want to peek at what they are hiding here. This is tricky. I think, especially with Face of Animosity in hand here, there is a high likelihood that if they get to make that land drop and play Faithline Marshal, they will do so to just bounce off of the Exorcist of Errors, and then I get to clear their Faithline Marshal with a Face of Animosity. And in that context, I am very favored for taking a look at the face down pile here. So we know Honesty, Complementarity, Faithline Marshal. Now we're going to get to see what they are hiding. It is Ruins Awaken and Commander of the Vow. I'll take Ruins Awaken. I don't know why the, like, image is... Oh, wow. The card is just fully messed up here. What? What the heck? Oh. Well, there we go. Thank goodness I knew what the card does. But yeah, that's literally their only play. So they're hiding ah. Oh, well. They found their third land. All right. Yeah, they did hit their land. Unfortunate. I was angling for trying to navigate the mana screw, and then they just got out of the mana screw. So they do get to go for Commander of the Vow here. I assume that is what they're tapping out for. They could be tapping out for Honesty here. They're tapping out for Honesty. Interesting. We untap, we draw. Hey, look at that. We're both finding our third land on turn 4. In that case, debating if I want to go for Spirit Realm of Phoenix or Fabricated Anomaly. Phoenix puts them to 13. Then they take their turn, run out Commander of the Vow. They get to make 3/3 and a pair of 2/2s. Or sorry, they get to make a 2/2 and a pair of 3/3s. Good lord. So that's going to be harder to punch through. I could take them to 14 by way of Fabricated Anomaly, punch in, buff up Exorcist, eating the cards in my graveyard. I think I'm inclined to look at using the puzzle box to pitch an Ignited Soul here with that in mind, because at this point, this is just never getting in. I'm feeling validated in boarding out the 4th copy of Ignited Soul. I think we are going to look at the swamp. We're looking between the 3 drops. Hypothetical land. They go Commander of the Vow next turn, and then they pass. We take them to 13 this turn. Next turn, Spirit Realm Phoenix represents 2 damage. Face of Animosity represents 4. Because it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, plus 2 damage from the pings from Spirit Realm Phoenix. Alternatively, if I use the Fabricated Anomaly this turn and dedicate the next 2 puzzle box activations for trying to dig for a second March of the Long Night, then I could open myself up for Fabricated Anomaly, puzzle box activation, pitch Ignited Soul, puzzle box activation, pitch Spirit Realm Phoenix, March of the Long Night Phoenix back into play, deal 3, Face of Animosity, Face of Animosity, plus Spirit Realm Phoenix would be 10. I think the Anomaly line is the more stable line. So we're going to go ahead and make a puzzle box. I'm going to go ahead and activate it now, pitch the Ignited Soul. We find an Erosive Path. That is fine. Worst comes to worst, we can just pitch that. We will pop out the graveyard, go to combat, swing, trigger, eat Ignited Soul, eat March of the Long Night. Get in for 3. Alrighty. Very, very nervous about where we're at, but I think we can still navigate it. So they do tap 3. It does look like Commander of the Vow is the play here. They're going to get Commander of the Vow. Okay. So two known cards, 1 unknown. I imagine they're just deciding whether they want to make both of the tokens 3/3s or make one of the tokens a 2/2. Because the way that it works is, okay, they're going to stack it such that the first Honesty trigger... Or wait, no. No matter how they stack it, one of the tokens is always going to be a 2/2. Because it's always going to be the second time the ability resolves. It's going to be one of the soldiers triggering it. So one of these triggers puts 1 counter on each of these creatures, and then another trigger puts 1 counter on one of them. Yeah, so they get 3/3, 3/3, and 2/2. But yeah, that is 3 mana for 8/8 stats across 3 bodies. Very effective at blocking me. And then suddenly we're in a very awkward spot. We will untap and draw Calamity Cat. I am thinking I am now going to rummage away Erosive Path here rather than Calamity Cat. And I'm going to do so now. Mercenary of Dusk is the draw. All right. We are going to go to combat. Swing in with both. And if they try to block in such a way as to double block one of my creatures, I will just burn a Face of Animosity. Either one Face of Animosity to kill if they block with both of the 3/3s to just trade 2 for 2. Or I will burn double Face of Animosity if they block 3/3 and 2/2 in front instead. Six currently. Granted, if I'm holding Face of Animosity, plus, oh, no blocks. Interesting. So they go to 8. I'm just going to hold the Face of Animosities here. Coordinated Shot, Ignited Soul are the mills. Hello, Burn Spell. Calamity Cat. So they could Complementarity here to get another counter on everything with Honesty, but I think we're really cool with that. They are going to Complementarity, so it costs... So X is 2. So yeah, they're going to get to make a 3/3 citizen, a 2/2 citizen, and then all of these are going to get counters. Okay, this is fine. That's only 11 damage that they could swing in with right now. And that's actually perfectly fine, because if they swing in for 11, we have lethal. The way in which my hands are, like, shaking, because this is just such a narrow situation to be in, I have to be so cautious of how much I can afford to swing in. They are going to attack. Okay. So they're going to use Honesty to tap down. Okay, they're tapping down just Calamity Cat. Okay, they're going to swing in with both to tap down both. Okay. Yeah, I have lethal now. I think that is GG's. They can block 2 of my things. The least they can take is 5. And I've got Face of Animosity here to deal lethal. I've got Spirit Realm Phoenix and Face of Animosity. Either one is lethal here. Yeah, and so then they get to tick up Commander of the Vow to a 6/6 here. We draw another March of the Long Night. Stack triggers, Mercenary resolves before any anomaly triggers. I mill Sanguine Palace, Sanguine Palace. Oh, yeah, this is on attacks. I will eat both palaces for Calamity Cat and then do no other things. Yeah. Was very, very hoping for the attack, and it ended up going in my favor. Yeah. Scary matchup. If that game goes another turn, I am so screwed. But the power of just breakneck blistering aggro. Whew. We are 2-0. Alrighty. If we get one more win in the Swiss, we are into the top cut. So we'll see if we can line that up. Alrighty. So, with all that said and done, that's going to end round 2 here. We are 2-0. Looters doing me proud. Let's see if we can keep riding that wave all the way to top cut here. We'll see you all in round 3 when that comes. Until then, as always, check out the description below for all of your key resources, everything custom magic. And if you aren't already, join that Discord so you can check out the custom magic channels in their totality, especially the Revolution Custom Standard chat, where I will see you all until next time. Definitely not the most scuffed outro I've had in a moment. See y'all.